This is just dumb. It's dumb. What does this prove? You know what this proves? History has a way of repeating itself. You had the Rodney King riots, which caused thousands, not thousands, millions of dollars of damages. Small businesses set ablaze. People who worked all their lives just to open a small little store, all torn apart by their neighbors. How's that different than this? Or other than the fact that Mexican flags are being waved on U.S. soil, how has this changed anything? Other than the fact that is now, it was getting back to the point where people were getting insurance to open a small business. But these dumb motherfuckers here make that next to impossible.
At 5,000 protesters march on Los Angeles for the fourth day in a row, prompting the LAPD to issue a tactical alert to keep officers on duty. This as President Trump.
Well, if the fucking mayor there actually did something,
Good evening. You're watching the news at 5. I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Michael.
This wouldn't be going on.
Today's protests have been largely
Regardless how you feel about the issue, once you start throwing bricks, destroying property, setting cars on fire, it's no longer a protest. It's a bunch of thugs doing criminal acts. Regardless to your fucking reason.
The SEIU president taken into custody during the protests.
And Chris Wolf is live in downtown LA at a location that's been especially troublesome over the past few days. But first to Gil Davis in Sky 5 with a look at what's going on right now. Gil.
Well, Mike and Cher, you're looking at Los Angeles Street at Aliso. This is where the demonstrators or protesters have been this afternoon in front of the federal building. As I come out, you're going to see a different profile to the police tactics that we've seen over the last 3 days.
It's about damn time.
Look at the 101 freeway and the overpass here on Los Angeles Street. The response by the law enforcement here is quite strong. You can see LAPD, LA County sheriffs. We understand Orange County sheriffs have responded, as well as
what the fuck would they have been waiting for? I mean, this is stupid.
They're making a stand here. They're making sure that they're not going to repeat what happened yesterday and over the weekend here on the 101 freeway, where the freeway was completely.
It's about they had to wait until millions of dollars of property was damaged. So the mayor can sit there and have a feel-good moment, say, we stand with Mexico. Damn the people whose property got destroyed, regardless if it's private, federal, state, doesn't goddamn matter. That's taxpayer money, you stupid bitch. Who do you think's going to pay for it to be repaired? That's not going to be your dumbass.
Crowd control and traffic control are eventually going to move the crowd to the south, it appears, and try to make them move before they have to arrest them.
Oh yeah, go ahead, try to ride your bike through there, dumbass.
A lot of multiple law enforcement on the scene here in a huge show of force that will likely be moving that crowd here shortly. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Gil Davis, thank you. Chris Wolf is on the ground also in downtown Los Angeles.
All right, Chris, what does the situation look like where you are?
Yeah, it seems to be intensifying, that's for sure. Hundreds of demonstrators have.
They're not demonstrators, they're fucking thugs. If they were demonstrators, they wouldn't be covering a goddamn face.
Federal building and also near the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Okay, a demonstrator. Oh, yeah, that's really nice. Dumbass. Dumbass. That's how you get your fucking story out there, you stupid bitch.
Okay, there was a guy that had climbed on top of a light pole across the street from
okay. That's. Yeah, you have your stupid sign. God damn, this is incredibly dumb. You know, let's see what the
Well, right now,
neuter police chief says.
McDonnell and LA Mayor Karen Bass are holding a joint press conference about the deployment of military forces. Let's listen into that.
Yeah, the mobilization is what we do internally to be able to get more officers out there. We declared that earlier, and now we'll have the ability to have roughly 400 additional officers deployed to the field.
Are you concerned with the federal mobilization? I mean, the National Guard and the Marines possibly coming this way?
Yeah, when I look at this, and my assessment may not be accurate based on this thing's continuously churning, but I see two parallel tracks that don't work together, if you will. We're dealing with the issues on the street that you see every day. We deal with that with LAPD resources. When we need additional resources, then we reach out to the sheriff who
For 3 days, people have been setting fires, destroying property, and this chick here is doing the Seattle move or the Portland move, siding with the rioters. She doesn't remember. She's also responsible for burning half the fucking town down. She likes fires. Jesus Christ. And this guy is just a fucking figurehead. He's neutered because this bitch here has his balls. You feel sorry for the illegal immigrants that have come into this country. So sorry that we're going to spend taxpayers' money to support them. Oh, Americans need money? Fuck them. I'm sorry. No, I try to be a compassionate individual, and I also said I wasn't going to talk about this because I don't care. But quite frankly, this is sick. The behavior of these people who do this kind of shit are fucking criminals. You can wait. Make them war criminals because they're flying a Mexican flag. I guess Mexico is putting them up to do all this stuff. I scum. Okay, tell you what, those people they arrested that came in this country illegally. To tell you what, have them come live in your house. You pay for their needs. You pay for their medical, and see how fast you get sick of them. And you try to kick them out in the street, or you call ICE to have them be taken away. Oh, lovely. Someone got the Russian flag. Oh, damn. What's wrong with you people? It's just fucking California. It's fucking California. It's a self-driving Waymo, a self-driving taxi company owned by Google, parent Alphabet, has stopped services in protest area to protect the... No shit, they were setting it on fire. Each 150,000. I think there was like 5, well, quite a few. I mean, at least probably close to $1 million went up in smoke. The LAPD has been allowed to wield less lethal ammunition to drive out the riders. However, LAPD chief revealed that his team is overwhelmed by ballots because the police force has been neutered. All right, are there bad cops? Yes, but there are a lot more good cops than there are bad ones. Just like in any other fucking job. You got some good ones. Majority of them are good at their job. And you got some that are bad at their job. That's within any type of industry, any type of job. Okay? To say they're all bad because of a select few is ridiculous. Because if that was the truth, we'd all be dead. It doesn't ever work. This type of shit don't work. Setting fires, destroying property, waving a fucking flag, whether it be a Palestinian flag or a Mexican flag, all that does is put more people against you than for you. I mean, you look at this. You got a Russian flag. Fucking stupid people. I guarantee, I mean, you got dumbasses taking pictures because, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. And it's mostly young people who have zero fucking life experience that all want this stupid shit. It just, it's all dumb. It's all dumb. All they're doing is hurting themselves. A lot of these, knowing Trump, he's going to find out who every single person that did this, and they're going to get arrested, and they're going to be charged federally. Their life is fucking over. Their life is fucking over. They'll be a felon, and even if they don't get convicted, they're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers and basically waste anywhere from 2 to 5 years of their life dealing with the court. There is a much better way. I've been repeating this over and over again. Gandhi didn't use violence. Martin Luther King didn't use violence. People were violent to him and to Gandhi, and they stand strong with a hand out saying, join me. Even though people spit on them, smacked them, they always had their hand out in friendship. They're not setting fucking fires. In fact, they condemned it because they knew that won't change anything. This doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. No. This doesn't change anything. This doesn't change anything. This doesn't change anything. All it does is set people against you. And if you're worried about racism, waving a fucking Mexican flag doesn't fucking help. And no, I'm just being real. It doesn't fucking help. You could have just done a peaceful protest. No, you had to go set fires. Jesus Christ, stop being dumb. Let's listen to Mr. Neuter Boy here.
Brings in mutual aid. We have 14 different agencies working with us for that purpose. And then only if we weren't able to continue to deal with that, needed additional help, would we reach out to the sheriff, who would then request National Guard from the governor. Sure. So that's one line. The other part then is the National Guard were federalized by the president to support federal agents who are working on behalf of ICE to do their operation. The Marines were brought in then today, evidently, to join the Army National Guard in doing what their main mission has been identified as, which is the protection of...
Bitch, stop shaking your head. You swore to uphold the law. You took the office. If you're not going to uphold the law,
I think everybody, it's a very
leave.
Topic, absolutely. Could I quantify what that is? I think it has certainly heightened everybody's level of awareness and certainly anxiety. but to be able to quantify that, I wouldn't.
Chief, how are you avoiding trying
avoid questions, and then the chief has to step out, but he'll come back.
How are you avoiding less lethal weapons being used on people who are merely there in the way potentially? Because it doesn't seem like everyone is being hit and being attacked, including press. I don't know, like it doesn't really make any sense that people are just being shot at.
Well, they're destroying shit and setting cars on fire.
Yeah, we minimize it through training, through the equipment we use. It is
By the mayor having our balls and neutering us. Come on. I'm not going to look this up on Twitter because I don't want my Twitter feed to be full of, political bullshit. But it's
President Donald Trump is sending the Marines into Los Angeles to put down violent protests against his mass roundups of immigrants, and Democrats in Colorado are preparing for it to happen here. The president is taking control of some of California's National Guard forces. Doing that without consulting state leaders is a rare move. So every Democrat
within his power,
including Colorado's Jared Polis, has signed a letter calling Trump's move intimidation and an alarming abuse of power. The Democrats who control Colorado's legislature have passed sweeping laws that limit how much information and cooperation ICE can get from local law enforcement here.
ICE is a federal organization. They can't do it.
From being used against Colorado's wishes. It prohibits other states from sending their National Guard here.
If the president orders them to come in, there's nothing they can do. It's called the National Guard, not the State Guard.
If the president demands it.
Governor Polis actually asked us to put in a section to Senate Bill 276 to prevent other states' National Guards.
There's nothing you can do about it, you moron. If the president orders the army to march, they fucking march. He can declare war on a country for 31 days without approval of Congress.
Exercise his will.
Last month, the New York Times reported the Trump administration is considering calling up 200,000 National Guard members to help with immigration enforcement. At the time, Governor Polis said he had deep reservations about that. So there's a protest right now against President Trump's immigration policies. This is in Aurora. These folks plan to end their march outside the ICE facility in Aurora, where there are people waiting for deportation proceedings.
Well, maybe they should come to the country legally, or when they were allowed sanctuary here to get a green card, visa, or something where they can work and contribute and have actual rights and protect them. But in the same token, it's all just dumb. All just dumb. That's all this is dumb. Because it shows that, one, that these people refuse to listen to the history of this country, how change really fucking happened. They all look at the Revolutionary War and fight for independence. They don't realize for like 5 years, representatives of the colonies begged and pleaded and cursed at England before going to war. Violence was always the last option. It wasn't the first thing that came to mind. Even the Boston Tea Party was technically a peaceful protest because they didn't kill anybody. They threw tea into the harbor and other things that were taxed to show their disapproval of it. Okay? But they didn't really destroy public property. They destroyed English property, not stuff they can affect their daily lives. Now, these people are destroying things that affect their daily lives. It's so dumb. I mean, if I get a copyright strike, I get a copyright strike. I don't shit.
I have something none of.
Okay, he's not talking about. Asmon's on to playing games. Yeah, there's a live action How to Train Your Dragon game. But once again, this is just stupid. This is just dumb. This is what happens when you neuter law enforcement. This is what happens when you let anarchy reign. Sanctuary cities was a haven for anarchy. There was no order. Someone commits a crime and they're a protected immigrant. In other words, they're here illegally and they're getting money from the government, whether it be state or federal, so they can live in a nice hotel, which they apparently trash, by the way, which they don't have to spend money to repair, and go kill somebody, rape somebody, whatever, and they get arrested and they're back out, and they're back in the same neighborhoods where they commit those crimes. But the simple fact being, they're called illegal immigrants. The key word here is illegal. This isn't fucking new. This isn't a Trump thing. This problem has been existing for the last 20 some odd years. And I blame Reagan because he did the amnesty thing. That just encouraged more illegal people to come here, more people to come here illegally, thinking they'll eventually have another round of amnesty. And people saying, oh, who's going to pick our crops? In other words, who's going to be our slave labor? Who can we have do our menial tasks without worrying about getting a fair wage, protected underneath the law, federal laws, protecting them from being abused by their employer? So you want to have a slave society. I thought we were against slavery. That and the fact, and this is a painful reality, we can't help everybody. We're barely helping each other right now. Due to decades of mismanagement by our federal government, where we have a over $1 trillion deficit that no president, including Trump, wants to pass a balanced budget amendment. The last time this country was on an uphill trajectory of lowering the national debt, we had a balanced budget for 4 years that created a surplus in this country. And Bush, too, came in and pissed it away. And then we went back on having a deficit. Instead of putting his foot down and sticking with the plan, the balanced budget, to create more surplus. And instead of giving it to whoever he gave it to, mostly the rich. And I'll be honest, with mostly the rich. He should have put that in Social Security to pay back the money that the federal fucking government has taken out of it. To create a organization independent to basically audit the government, Doge, and give them the necessary power to take corrective action when they find fraud. In other words, file charges. This situation is a perfect example of government mismanagement, government overreaching their power, whether it be the federal government, state government, or local government. That mayor, any mayor across this country, cannot say the president can't bring any federal force into their city. They don't have the power to do that. They can sit there and go on TV and bitch and moan and entice people to riot, but they're still going to come. They'll just bring more people with them. And that's exactly what happened in Los Angeles. They knew what they were getting into, so they basically brought the fucking military to back their ass up. And they still got their job done. That's what's pissing all these people off. They arrested illegal immigrants and took them to a holding center to be vetted. Because sometimes you make a mistake and you release them. Sometimes the mistake continues on and they get deported. Sanctuary cities were a bad idea. It was a horrible idea. Because it created a burden on the American people. And when you do that and you start to feel it, you start like noticing the price of food going up, eggs, they look for people to blame. And the rationale is the people who are living in a fucking luxury hotel getting free money every month to live there, plus money to feed themselves, well, American people are going hungry, it has the tendency to piss them off. Just saying. It just makes them angry. And when they see stupid shit like this,
in Los Angeles, hundreds have taken to the streets to protest recent immigration raids across the city.
Dumb shit like that, it solidifies their anger, and now they're going to direct it to Hispanics. And I bet there's a lot more Latin people that are pissed off about this. These people came into the country the right way. They worked hard. They did it the right way. You want to find someone against illegal aliens that are very passionate about it. You find someone who immigrated to this country the right way, they're pissed. They put forth the effort to do it the right way, to go through the process, to pay the money to become an American citizen, and they see this shit. That these people who came here illegally finally get arrested. They're happy about that, and they're pissed off because they're seeing cars on fire, and people say, let the people who broke the law out. They're like, fuck you. I did it the right way. And you're hating on us? You want to shit on my effort and give it to them for free? Fuck you.
Erupted over the weekend after at least 44 people were arrested by federal immigration agents and continued Sunday, resulting in clashes between
44 people? Well, shit, the way the people are acting like it's what, 4,000. 44 people got arrested by ICE. 44. Not 4,000, not 400, 44.
Police and protesters. Now the Pentagon expected to formally deploy about 700 Marines to Los Angeles in the coming hours to help hundreds of National Guard members respond to those protests.
And meanwhile, California's governor is threatening to sue Trump's administration. Michael Yoshida is in Los Angeles now with the latest.
Dumbass. Remember, this is the same governor who cut off the water so the fire hydrants wouldn't have water in there to fight the fires. This shows the level of intelligence of this person.
Protests rocked the Los Angeles area over the weekend in response to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Dozens of people have been arrested as law enforcement says the protests have turned violent. Vehicles were set on fire, and law enforcement used flashbangs and tear gas to break up the crowds.
Last night was probably one of the most volatile nights that we had in the city of Los Angeles.
President Donald Trump deploying...
You should be fucking used to it. I mean, it's only been 23 years since the last riots in Los Angeles. And apparently you haven't learned jack shit.
Hundreds of National Guard troops, which he said was to protect federal personnel and property, despite no calls for them from California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
What was the reason that...
It was federal fucking property. It's full. They're to protect federal property. Fuck your state. Fuck your city. They're protecting federal property. That's within any president, not just Trump. Biden could have done it. Obama could have done it. To protect that property. They could go burn down the rest of the fucking city for all Trump cares, probably. And you know what? That's your problem. But they're going to protect the federal building.
The president had to take the power from the governor and federalize the National Guard.
Newsom is now...
Mind you, once again, this is the same governor that cut off water flow, that fed hydrants to fight fires. That a wildfire hit, he still went and released the fucking water because of a fish. Sorry, lose countless human lives and property and homes and all that stuff, but the fish is okay.
Now threatening to sue the Trump administration over the move. Authorities have declared all of downtown Los Angeles.
Good luck with that, stupid people. Waste some taxpayer money now.
Addressing the unrest from outside the White House.
The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators, they're insurrectionists, they're bad people, they should be in jail.
The National Guard is staging in at least 3 locations across LA, including the Metropolitan Detention Center, where Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters was denied entry Sunday.
I need to get in. They said, we're not letting anybody in and slam the door. And so I didn't have an opportunity to talk with anybody.
In Los Angeles, I'm Michael Yoshida.
You haven't been doing your job. Why start now? It's the fucking truth. Let's see what this.
Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give.
Yeah.
Begin today's show in Los Angeles, where President Trump has deployed the California National Guard in defiance of California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles.
He doesn't need his fucking permission.
This comes after protests erupted against.
No, people just no. Listen, I'm not a fucking lawyer. I studied history. If unchecked violence happens on U.S. soil, the president of the country has the power to use the military to bring peace and to arrest people who caused the violence. It's that simple. Now, this type of power is used in these type of situations where local and state law enforcement have proven to been inadequate. So presidents tell the National Guard to get in there and regain control before it spreads. Now, people are acting like that this is the first time this fucking ever happened in the history of the country. No, this is not the first time National Guard has been used this way. National Guard was used on campuses in the 60s to allow African American students to go to school, to protect them. This is not the first time the National Guard have basically stepped in. The governor and local politics go, well, you can't do that. Oh, watch us. Just watch us. We're coming in. We're military. We answer to the fucking president, not to the fucking governor. If you want a military that answers to the governor, state militia. A state militia. The National Guard, or the reserves, have gone to foreign countries to fight in wars. Just say. Because they follow the orders of the president. Not the fucking governor, and especially not to a goddamn mayor.
ICE's military-style raids in and around L.A. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth.
We have a bunch of fucking pissant mayors saying they're going to interfere with them. Of course they're going to come in like that. Jesus Christ, are you people stupid?
Seth has also threatened to deploy 500 active duty Marines from Camp Pendleton. White House advisor Stephen Miller labeled the ICE protests an insurrection.
Yeah.
On Sunday, Trump warned.
It's called an insurrection because they're waving fucking Mexican. The Mexican flag was waving on U.S. soil. You can interpret that as an act of war. Now, I'm sure Mexico is not sitting there going, we have nothing to do with this. Do not send your fucking military down here because we have nothing to do with the shit that's going on in LA. Nothing. So, yeah, if they had a chance, they would go up there. They would go to LA and take all the fucking Mexican flags out of there so they don't give Trump an opportunity to come and invade Mexico.
This could be just the beginning of deploying troops on U.S. streets.
We're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart.
Earlier today, Trump wrote on social media, looking really bad in L.A., bring in the troops, unquote. California Governor Gavin Newsom plans to sue the Trump administration.
Good luck with
today.
that, dumbass.
He wrote, quote, commandeering a state's National Guard without consulting the governor of that.
It isn't the state National Guard. It's the federal National Guard. They are military. And the president is commander-in-chief of all military branches. Hey, guess what, buddy? That includes the National Guard. There's a National Guard office in the Pentagon, for Christ's sake. They answer to the fucking president, not the fucking governor. Yeah, does the governor have the power to direct the National Guard into their state to certain areas? Yes. But at the end of the day, the one that has full command over all military branches, that includes the National Guard, is the president. He's commander in chief. Open a fucking history book. Or better yet, just take a course in goddamn government.
State is illegal and immoral.
No, it isn't.
This marks the first time.
Illegal and immoral, but we'd be more than happy to let people come to our country illegally and immorally and, commit acts, commit crimes, do human trafficking, rape citizens here, kill citizens here. But this is the big fucking problem. Yeah, go with that.
Since the 1960s, presidents deployed the National Guard without a governor's request. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders said Trump is, quote, moving this country rapidly into authoritarianism. California Senator Scott Wiener said, quote, this is what fascism looks like, unquote. On Sunday, police forces in...
No, this is what corrective action. This isn't fascism. Rounding up people who broke the law isn't fascism. Okay. Fascism is what some people want to happen. You don't think like me, so we're going to send you to a special camp. Your voice doesn't matter because it doesn't agree with me. That's fascism. Maintaining law and order is not fascism. In fact, maintaining law and order makes it harder for fascism to happen. Not because it quiets dissident voices. Because then people aren't worried about shit like this and can pay attention more to the federal government and what they're up to. Not that people haven't been really paying attention.
Los Angeles fired rubber bullets, flashbang grenades, and tear gas at protesters who gathered to condemn the ICE raids and deployment of the National...
Oh, like they were so fucking peaceful. They were throwing shit. Bricks, rocks, at cars. They were throwing Molotov cocktails. They were setting property on fire. They were damaged property. Oh, this don't make it sound like it was a peaceful protest. No, fuck off. I don't like Fox News much better.
Let's start with this. A Fox News alert yesterday marking the third straight day of riots in California as protesters pushed back against the Trump administration's illegal immigration crackdown.
Todd Pyro joins us now with the latest. Todd.
Absolute chaos in Los Angeles this weekend as anti-ICE rioters streets in protests of federal immigration raids. Watch.
Yeah, there's a Mexico flag. Oh yeah, it was peaceful. It was so peaceful.
We have seen protesters, most of whom were wearing masks to hide their faces, clash with police, throwing just about anything from cinder blocks to hammers at...
It's so brave to protest while wearing a mask. Put your face out there. Show that you stand behind your cause. Proudly, openly. Only thugs hide behind masks. It works for both sides of this argument, by the way. Only thugs hide behind masks.
Law enforcement in response to ICE arrests throughout the city. It all started Friday night when agents captured what they are calling the worst of the worst. Some of the migrants arrested have been convicted of crimes ranging from assault to drug offenses. One arrest includes a gang member convicted of murder after shooting up a high school graduation party, killing 2 teens and injuring 7 others. By Sunday morning, hundreds of National Guard members were on duty in downtown LA at the request of President Trump, who says he will do whatever he can to bring peace back to the city.
What is the bar for sending Marines?
What I think it is, I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
Marines on the table, sir. Secretary,
we got to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
Meantime, California Governor Gavin Newsom formally requesting the administration rescind their, quote, unlawful deployment of troops to LA, going as far...
Last time I checked, LA is still part of this country. They're not a separate international country. Now, I'm pretty sure there's gonna, if you want to succeed from the union, I don't think you're going to find anybody to stop you. Please, please leave. Just go. Just go. Bye. It was nice knowing you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Far as to say, quote, creating mass chaos and militarizing cities are acts of a dictator, not a president. Police arresting at least 27 people on Sunday. They have declared all of downtown LA a, quote, unlawful assembly area, meaning anyone who enters that area could be arrested as well. Back over to you.
Unbelievable what's taken place. Thanks so much, Todd. You know, what's kind of amazing is you really have the story in one country, 2 different philosophies when it comes to illegal immigration. You got a mayor and a governor elected, rightfully, who said illegal immigrants are just like anybody else. And we're a sanctuary state, we're a sanctuary city. You'll have all the rights, and we'll go out of our way to make sure you're not arrested. We got a president that got elected because he's going to enforce the border and get rid of illegal immigrant criminals first and the rest along the way. There are 660,000 illegal immigrant criminals. We're going to show you a roster shortly of some of the people that were arrested and scooped up. But ICE, in the eyes of these perhaps illegal immigrant rioters, are the problem, not the solution.
Okay, him saying that is stupid. It's just to keep the riots going so they have something to talk. Okay, we don't know if these are all illegal immigrants, especially that big, tall, white guy. I'm hazarding a guess. It's highly unlikely. Okay, he's probably asking, hey, when are we going to start looting Walmart? I need a new TV.
President Trump over the weekend, Gavin Newsom does not want these 2,000 National Guard troops sent in that the president sent in over the weekend. But yes, as Brian was saying, when you look at some of these criminals that were scooped up, these are people who are here illegally. Here are some of their charges: burglary, sexual assault, sexual battery, receiving stolen property and theft, cocaine distribution, conspiracy, controlled substances, assault with a deadly weapon, obstructing officers, assault with deadly weapon with great bodily injury, firearm discharge, spousal battery, child cruelty, DUI, semi-automatic firearm assault, second-degree murder, grand theft larceny, and possession of a weapon, narcotics distribution, and domestic violence.
So you got people that are violent criminals that are in California, in Los Angeles.
No, I'm curious. Okay, Google or Alphabet is one of these companies that kind of support this type of attitude. Hey, have them come in. We'll see if they get funded and all this shit. All these social programs, and they're destroying Google's property. This just shows you the brain capacity of these fucking people.
And the Trump administration is doing the promise that they got elected on, which is getting the criminals out of our country. So you got the federal agents that are on the ground, and then a mob attacks them. They get on the radio to talk to the Los Angeles Police Department, and someone in the higher echelon, the chief or someone, tells the officers not to respond to the calls for help from ICE. So you got federal agents that are surrounded, and now they've been made the enemy. You got the Mexican president calling for protests. How about you come get your people out of our country that are violent offenders that we showed you? Then you got the people with Mexican flags If you love Mexico so much, you can go back to that country and make it great again. And then you got the city of Glendale that are now getting rid of their ICE detainee contract now. So they're not going to be cooperating with ICE or Homeland Security. You got a big mess in California.
Right. I just love this. I'm just going to ask you the question. Would you rather Kenosha? Would you rather Minneapolis from a couple of years ago? Or do you want to see a president that watched, learned, and said this will not happen in our country? Law and disorder. Make your choice. Are you for the law or are you for disorder? Make another choice. Are you for illegal immigration or are you for legal migration? Because that's starkly what we're looking at. He's enforced the border, but illegal immigrants then they can run wild.
You notice it's all young people? I'm not saying I don't know if she American citizen, illegal, whatever, don't fucking matter. I'm saying, you notice it's young people. Right. You don't see people in my age group. I mean, I'm sure there's a few out there in California taking part of this, but most of them are like, I got my own fucking problems. I don't need to deal with your bullshit.
And they're on the taxpayer dollar. So for those of you who are upset about the size of your tax burden in California, it's because
I foresee a federal law making skateboards illegal.
you're housing, paying, and educating these people.
Look at this. This is the police department.
They're attacking the police department that is on her side. It shows how stupid they are.
Just rioters slamming some sort of what is that, a skateboard into the glass?
Yeah, and broke the glass as well. And this is coming after. So Bill Melugin posted on X that the police chief said essentially that the situation was out of control. Gavin Newsom responds to Bill Melugin by saying this: let's get this straight. Local law enforcement didn't need any help. Excuse me? Trump sent troops anyway to manufacture chaos and violence. Number 3, Trump succeeded. And 4, now things are destabilized and we need to send in more law enforcement just to clean up Trump's.
Mr. Newsom, sir. Shit got real fucking fast. This didn't happen because of Trump. Trump enforcing federal law because everybody wanted a slave labor force here. And apparently you do too, because you apparently need a slave labor force to clean up your fuck up from the wildfires where you didn't allow the water to get to fire hydrants because you want to protect the goddamn fish. And then you sell part of your aqueducts to private individuals so the water goes to the farms first before it goes to communities first. Oh, Jesus Christ. And they want to, that's, you're looking there, right there, Gavin Newsom is in talk, people are talking about him running as president under the Democratic Party. God help us all.
Can I paraphrase real quick? Crazy. The LA police chief came out and said, are they 2,000 National Guardsmen making things worse? He goes, no. They basically said no. And that goes against 100%. The people that put him in office because he says, no, they haven't. And it is out of control. So the governor who sits there in a protective facility, wherever he is, doesn't want to go out and see what's going on, but says, okay, we're going to make Donald Trump the bad guy. And the mayor would have, every day she just reinforces how inadequate she is for the job, comes out and blames Trump.
Yeah, is Trump supposed to just sit by and watch this? They shut down the 101 freeway. They faced off with the National Guard, with the agents and the riot police. Some were waving foreign flags.
Yeah,
there were 39 people arrested. And even the police chief of LA, Jim McDonnell, he said we're overwhelmed. They're using cinder blocks and hammers to throw at officers, to throw it at cars. We've had liquid, who knows what, thrown at officers.
So the Democratic Party is criticizing the president. This is their opportunity to lead. This is their city. They're in control. They can make something happen. But this is just the list of quotes that we're hearing from the leader. She wants to be the next governor. The former border czar, you know about Kamala Harris. This is what she had to say. It's part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. The mayor who allowed the city to burn, had no plan while she was on a foreign trip. This is what she had to say. What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. And then Governor Hairgel, Gavin Newsom, said this: these are the acts of a dictator, not a president.
Couldn't win a primary when she ran for president against Biden. She ran for president against Trump when nobody voted for her in a primary. She didn't get elected because people, quite frankly, and rightfully so, didn't believe she could do the job. She was the border czar. Look at the situation with the illegal immigrants right now. She did a lousy fucking job. We got a woman here that let half her fucking city burn while she's overseas, didn't cut her trip short so she could get back to address the emergency situation, and just, watch Rome burn. Then we got a guy, he spends more time styling his hair than taking a look at reality and understanding how government works. God help us if he's elected president.
Now, you got to remember, this is the same city and state that passed a law that allowed criminals to just go into stores and be able to steal less than $1,000. And then all the stores left the state as a result of this. And now they're allowing the criminals to throw stuff at cops right now, injuring them.
So it just kills me. And I was speaking to the sheriff last night on One Nation, Villanueva. I said, let me ask you.
You notice they're not showing their faces. They're all covering up. There's a mask. I mean, look at it. They're doing everything they can to protect their identity. I mean, there's some that out there with their face exposed, but they cover their faces. I don't think it's because of COVID. I think they don't want their face on TV. So when they go to work, go back to work, their boss will look at them and go, "You're fired. You're fired." Yeah, you can get fired for this shit. You take part of a violent act, you can be fired from your job. And you got Mexican flags, there's some Palestinian flags. I mean, come on.
Last night on One Nation, Villanueva, I said, let me ask you, is LA doing everything they possibly can to the LAPD to help out ICE? He goes, absolutely not. And he basically called on the average cop to stand up and speak out and do the right thing. But you blow up your pension, you blow up your family. I mean, it's tough to say with your career on the line, but it must be killing them because law enforcement wants to help out. Please don't. The mayor comes out and says that everything was under control. It was a minor infraction. Are you kidding me? That's a minor infraction? That is total disrespect for police. They're spitting on cop cars. And those other cars that were blown up, those were robo-taxis. So you're blowing up taxis that will affordably be able to pick you up in all different types of circumstances, but that's what you blow up. Just keep in mind, I always say to myself, who's financing these stuff? Who's behind it? And there's a group called the Coalition for Human Immigration Rights who gets tens of millions of dollars from the federal government, from California, and from China. They had a big rally on Thursday, and they say they're not part of this. There's no way they're not part of this, a part of an organized effort to create unrest.
It's all proven. I wish they wouldn't say shit like that.
We know what these illegals were charged with. We listed out all the crimes, and to hear other officials in California, these Democrats or liberals that say they're not going to work with ICE, they're not going to work with law enforcement. You even have the LAPD chief, Jim McDonnell.
Okay, I mean, this is a mess that's created because for decades, nobody wanted to be the bad guy. What I mean by being the bad guy, to sit there and say, we're going to secure our borders. We're going to stop the flow of illegal activities at our borders. That includes drugs, human trafficking, criminals coming over here killing American citizens for decades. Now, I'm not in favor of the fucking wall, but if that means our borders are secure, put the goddamn wall up. Give the Border Patrol enough support to stop this. What people don't grasp the concept here. Yeah, there's some heinous individuals here. There's heinous individuals bringing people into this country, taking advantage of the desperate, put them in shipping containers, driving them across the desert when it's like 100 or something degrees outside, and that's like double what's inside the shipping container. And these same individuals take children out of this country and just have their lives destroyed. And also bring children into this country for their lives to get destroyed. This shit's got to stop. Trump's being the bad guy. You know, there's a saying, if you're the hero long enough, you become the villain. Trump isn't the hero that the American people want. He's the villain that the American people need in this situation. If things were done correctly, where politics were out of the situation, and when they swore to hold any office, it's always in there to uphold the laws of the United States. That means all the laws, not just the ones that give you the warms and fuzzies. That means the ones that you make the hard choices. Immigration, you do it the right way, and you can be in this country. You can apply for sanctuary in this country, but you got to do it the right way. We shouldn't just have an open door. No other country in the world has an open door policy. Before you put it this way, before you can go to any other country and to quote unquote live there, one, you have to be debt free and have no criminal record. That's around the fucking world. Before you can work in there, you gotta have no outstanding debts. You can't have a criminal record. We don't even do that here. Why should the United States be different than any other country that protects its borders? There is a way to come into this country legally. You know what? I'm sick of this shit. I'm tired. I'm tired dealing with gross stupidity. I'm tired dealing with seeing California being utterly moronic people thinking they're superior to everybody. People have been leaving the state of California in droves for the last 10 years. And they never stop to go, wonder why everybody's fucking leaving. Because it fucking sucks there. That's why. It isn't about politics. It's about quality of life. You need to be mega rich to live in California. You want to know where the 1% is? It's in California, I can tell you that. Or in New York City. Those are the two places you're going to find the majority of the 1%. You're not going to find it in Middle America. And the bad part is Middle America pays the price of New York and California stupidity. Thank God for the Electoral College. Because all our policy would be based on what's going on in California and what's going on in New York. Thank God for Electoral College. All right. I didn't plan on doing a stream. I just saw this and I was looking at some news articles and saw this shit. Oh dear God. I just can't believe how stupid people are. Thinking that this is going to change anything. If anything, you just made it 10 times worse. Anyway, I'm going to bed. Good night.